better than that. People of Humble, how are you tonight? Happy Arcata Rising. Oh my God, that feels so good to say. The amount of work that has gone into this event that we're putting on this weekend, and to finally have a microphone in my hand to say, welcome to Arcata Rising. Big hand for you guys for being the first. My name is Toby. I am the morning drive DJ for K-Hum. Perhaps you listen, perhaps you don't. If you need a qualifying statement, good morning. You're listening to 104.3 or 104.7 KHUM, K-Hum. Cut in McKinleyville, Arcata, Fortuna, all over Humboldt County, streaming live on khum.com. And as always, if you're streaming live from outside the area, I want you to email me and tell me where you're from. toby@khum.com. I'll be your MC for the weekend. I am so honored to be here before we even get started. All of this happened because of a couple of very special people we cannot possibly thank. All of the cogs in the machine. But before he even makes it back to the green room, give it up for Brian Swislow right there. Brian Swislow has been manufacturing this thing from sun up to sundown, probably the evening of January 2nd, where all of the events took place that brought us together today. Here's why I'm excited. Here's why I'm happy, because we've been training for this. Every farmer's market, every Friday night market, every time we come together as a community and have fun with each other, we're putting ourselves into training mode to come together when it really matters and to help the people that need it the most, because we are a community. And break that down, commune and unity. That's exactly what we're here for this weekend. So you're doing the right thing, you're in the right place, even if you're supposed to be home at bed, like me, morning DJ. We got a great show for you tonight. We've got Mr. Brett McFarland. Give it up for Brett. We've got the Pete Molen Band and the PD Quartet. And how many of you are here to see Earl Thomas? We've got them all for you. Let's go ahead and get this thing kicked into gear. Thank you again for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for Mr. Brett McFarland.
How's everybody feeling tonight? Thank you so much for coming out. Well, I'm on the left and you're on the right, but it's still the same bird in the middle, picking us both to death. Why don't you fight? Oh, maybe you're on the right and I'm on the left, but it's still the same bird in the middle, pegging us both to death. Oh, we've been fighting for so long, it don't even matter whose side you're on. Maybe I'm on the right and you're on the left, but it's still the same bird in the middle, pegging us both to death. Why don't I fight your fight, and you can fight mine, and when we're done we can meet in between the lines, where there ain't no left and there ain't no right. Yeah, we're hanging in the middle, cooking up a bird tonight. Well, there ain't no left and there ain't no right. Yeah, we're hanging in the middle, cooking up the bird tonight. Maybe, well, there ain't no left, and there ain't no right, yeah, we're hanging in the middle, cooking up the bird tonight. Well, there ain't no left, and there ain't no right, yeah, we're hanging in the middle, cooking up the bird tonight. Well, I got to tell you, it is such an honor to be here tonight. This is an incredible full circle moment to be back here at Humbrew's opening for Earl. I'll tell you more about it. Yeah, I wasn't playing any music in this community for quite a while. I wanted to be, but I wasn't doing it. And one day I figured out why. It took me years to figure out why I wasn't doing it, but I finally figured it out one day, and I realized that some part of me didn't feel like I was good enough to be up on stage playing music. And it wasn't a conscious thought, it was subconscious. As soon as I realized it consciously, I'm like, that's ridiculous, man. I'm gonna do what I love. I got my neighbor Ken Jarvala, he paints. Anybody know Ken? Yeah. And I watched this dude for years. He's always painting, and like, you can tell that he loves what he's doing. Like, he loves to paint. He is, and people see his art and they're all pumped on it, they're all stoked and stuff, and he appreciates that. Please tell him if you see him, but that ain't why he's doing it. He's doing it because he loves doing it. Yeah. And so when I realized I wasn't doing it because I didn't think I was good enough, I'm like, no, that's ridiculous. I love it. I just like Ken loves that art, so I'm going to do it. And man, as soon as I did that, I went and booked tickets to go see Willie Nelson the next day. Once I realized that, because I always wanted to go see him, and I'm like, I'm going to go see Willie. So I went to go see Willie. My wife and I went to see him, and we came back from seeing Willie. And I told her, I said, you know what? It was April. I go, next year, I'm going to do music. That was only 7 months away, So, but I woke up the day after that. I'm like, I ain't waiting 7 months. What the hell is that shit? I was just going to start doing this now. So I did. I started. But one of the first people that I called Pete Mullen, and he's here tonight. He's going to be. He's coming up after me. Pete Mullen, and his quartet's going to be back in Earl tonight as well. But I called Pete, and I'm like, Pete, man, I want to play some music for this community, but I'm just one guy all by myself. Do you know anybody that might want to play with me? And he's like, I got you covered, man. And he introduced me to this man named Surya Sardonicus. Yeah. Good man. Yeah, man. And Surya has become like my best friend, man. He's one of my best friends in the whole world. And so Pete introduced me to Surya. We actually we recorded a little bit with Pete. And then I did something that was kind of like weird to me. I made Instagram. First mistake. I made an Instagram account, and I'm like, this is weird, man. This is weird. And then I took my little. Anybody got one of them little things? You know what I'm talking about? I got one of those things out, and I took a video of myself playing and singing, and that was even weirder. I'm like, this is weird, man. I'm like taking videos, and then I put it up online, and then I did something. I looked at the like count. And as soon as I did it, I felt bad. I'm like, no, that's not what you're supposed to do, Brett. Don't do that. Don't be looking for that external validation. Don't do that to yourself. It ain't no good. At the time, I only had, 3 friends or whatever they call them on there. But I did that thing, man, because I already had chose myself. I already had decided that I was going to love me. I was going to do what I love no matter what. I chose myself. And I did that. And man, I'm telling you what, on my third post that I ever made, Earl Thomas reached out to me. And man, Earl Thomas is my hero. I've been looking up to Earl, man. In fact, I talked to Earl a few times. I did. I even had his phone number. Anyway, I had his phone number, but I wouldn't call him because I could tell the vibe wasn't there, and it was. He was friendly enough to me. He was not unkind to me, but I looked up to him. I felt like I had some stuff to learn from this guy, man. I just knew it in my heart, but years went by and we never, if I seen him, I'd be like excited. I'm going to go say hi, or go to his concerts or whatever. But man, Earl told me to call him. So I did. I called him up, man. I called him up and I was on the banks of the Trinity River with my buddy Aaron. Aaron, you in the house tonight? Not here yet. He'll be here for Earl. Yeah, sell yourself out a little harder next time. Everybody look at Aaron. Put your hand up. Come on. Come on. Yeah, man, I was with Aaron. We were going out on the Trinity River. He was taking me on a float trip, and I'm like, hey, I can't leave just yet. I got to call Earl back. Which was fine. He had to go take the boat and trailer somewhere, so take it to the takeout. So anyway, I called Earl, and Earl, he told me some heavy-duty stuff, man. He was like, Brett, he's like, I don't listen to music, man. I really don't. I know that might sound weird because I'm a musician and stuff, but I don't really do that much. He's like, but I listen to your music. And I'm going to tell you, it was a country song I sent him, or that he saw. But he goes, Brett, there's this thing in the blues. There's these melodies. And if you hit certain notes, he goes, if you sing certain notes, then I know you're telling the truth. Just by what you're singing. I don't even have to listen to the words, but if you hit a certain melody, I know. And he goes, let me tell you something. I believe you. So then he said, hey, I'm gonna be. This was like in August. He goes, I'm gonna be up in Humboldt in November. He goes, you want to play the show with me? I'm like, I said yes, and I hung up the phone, and I immediately regretted the decision. Only for a moment. I was just panicking because I'm going like, man, I'm not prepared for this. I haven't played a single show in front of this community for years and years and years. How am I supposed to go do this? But I had a birthday party. I had this birthday party that was the week before the show with Earl, and instead of having a regular birthday party, I made my birthday party a show. And I made a little flyer, and I was going to perform outside, but I had my house be the green room. I had security, and I told my buddy doing the security, I'm like, look, if anybody tries to get in here, you need to give them a hard time, man. They gotta have the right goods if you're gonna let them through. They either gotta have a VIP pass, which nobody has because I haven't given any out, or they gotta tell you a really good lie, or they gotta distract you and sneak in. But you can't just be letting people in here willy-nilly because this is a freaking show, man, and I'm in the green room. And Larry did. He did a good job doing security. And way to go, Larry. Yeah, Larry. Thank you, Larry, man. I had my show. And then a week later, I played with Earl right here on this stage. And that was actually the first time that I ever played Humboldt for the audience. It was on acoustic guitar, and I got to do it, opening for Earl. Yeah. Well, I was supposed to, in my mind, when I was going to do this show, I'm like, okay, normally I play with a full band most of the time. With a full band, I got harmonica, drums, bass guitar, electric guitar. And we got a nice set that we worked on, but I told myself, if I'm going to play at Humbrew's, I'm going acoustic, obviously, and I got an opportunity to do something different. So I was going to dig up some new songs, and that was my intention. Yeah. It was. I was going to play you guys, because I'm like, come on, let's do something new. But then I started thinking about that word, new. And I started writing a new song this morning. And I kept writing it into the afternoon. And I was still writing it in the evening time. And then my printer wouldn't work. I started panicking. My wife, I'm like, honey, help me. And she tried, and she did, and she was so good because I was not in a very good mood, and she was so kind. And I couldn't get it printed off, and I was panicking. But then I got it printed off here at Humbrew's. And normally I would tell any other musician it's not necessarily advisable to perform a song that you've never played before, especially if that song is the longest song that you've ever written. But I feel like I've already been up here rambling for so damn long, I might as well just pull out this most ramblest song that I ever done. Now I would ask your humble forgiveness. Yeah, your humble forgiveness. Because I don't know what's going to happen. The lighting's pretty weird. It's kind of hard to see. I wonder what you can do to get any light on this stand here. There's no way. Well, we're just going to risk everything. I've been known to take unnecessary risks, and this might be one of them.
Been in 5 years in prison.
Well, I got sent to prison for some plants I grew, and because I wouldn't tell on some folks I knew. And if you really want to make the government mad, just tell them to go to hell. And when I first went in, I was scared as shit. Never dreamed of being in a place like this. But in time, I learned how to hold my head. Well, in the dusty old hall, they had a few guitars, so I picked one up and played a few bars, and before I knew it, I was drawing a crowd. Yeah, I started singing and the guys threw a fit when I got to the part about not being a snitch, and I knew right then and there I was gonna be okay. So there I was, all locked up in prison, but I closed my eyes and I had a vision, and I was standing on a mighty big stage. And I was up there singing my songs, and the people, you know, they were singing along, and this right here is what we were singing. Sometimes the bad times lead to good times, sometimes the worst times are best times of all. Sometimes the bad times lead to good times. Sometimes the worst times are the best times of all. When I came back to and I opened up my eyes, much to my own surprise, I was still right there standing in hell. But somehow it didn't matter much to me, because I knew now deep down I was already free, and I just needed to wait a little while for that time to catch on up. So I did my time and I didn't look back, and one day I got released, and they said that I was heading over there to Oakland, California, to the halfway house. The first morning that they let me out, I went out, I seen a big old line, and I asked what it was about, and some folks told me there was a dispensary because weed was legal now. Well, I thought it was crazy and it blew my mind, but I wasn't bitter that I just done time, because I knew I was destined to be in America, an outlaw country star. Sometimes the bad times lead to good times. Sometimes the worst times are the best times of all. Well, I still remember the first day I got home, and I held my sweet wife who'd been all alone and waiting for me all of them years. But as I looked around and I seen that mess and the hollowed out world that I had left, I realized I had some debts to pay. And I saw my guitar, but I put it away, along with some dreams that I killed that day. And I picked up a shovel and a hammer and I got to work. And I worked every day for the next 3 years, and then one day my darling came to me in tears and said she was pregnant and we were gonna have ourselves a baby. Our house was small, so I started building on. But by the time I was done, she was almost gone. She told me she was taking our baby girl and she wanted a divorce. Said I'd gotten mean since I came home. Well, I watched them both leave, and it broke my heart. And things that night got pretty dark, and I started drinking and thinking that I wanted to die. But I woke up in the morning and I knew what I had to do. She waited for me, and I'd do the same if I had to. So I moved out of the house and convinced her to take the kid and move back in. And I visited my daughter every chance I got, and kept my head down, and I prayed a lot. And after a little while, I started wondering if I wasn't wearing my future ex-wife down. I could tell she was starting to doubt her doubt when she said she didn't love me, but I could sleep on the couch. And well, after that, I started to sing. Sometimes the bad times lead to good times. Sometimes the worst times are the best times of all. Sometimes the bad times lead to good times. Sometimes the worst times are the best times of all. Well, that was at least the second time the music saved my life, so I figured that the time was right to go back and visit the prison where I had first had my dream. So I brought some weed and I twisted it up, and I stared at the walls and I started to puff, and I was standing upstream, upwind, blowing smoke towards the prison yard. Now I know some folks will just say I was high, but I swear to goodness I looked in the sky and I seen the big man watching over all of them men. Hey! And it was clear I was on a mission from God, because a few miles up the road I saw my tour bus rusting in the dust in the wind. She was a classic beauty like I never seen, and I knew that I was living my dream when the owner's old lady pulled a gun on me. Well, I got out of there and I got out fast, but I knew someday that I'd come back, cause the tumbleweed was my destiny. Well, I'd take that bus and I'd take my van and travel all across the land. Wherever I found folks having a hard time, we would try and cheer them up. And if we were lucky, they might just sing along. Sometimes the bad times lead to good times. Sometimes the worst times are the best times of all. Sometimes the bad times lead to good times. Sometimes the worst times are the best times of all. Sometimes the bad times lead to good times. Sometimes the worst times are the best times of all. Sometimes the worst times are the best times of all. Sometimes the worst times are the best times of all. That was my wife's first time hearing that song. I don't know how many of you guys have been following the news, but right, all this bad news, right, so much bad news, man. You know, but my mom recently told me, she was like, yo, Brett, she's like, I'm getting all this bad news, and I know where y'all are getting all your news. I know where you're getting your news. Instagram. Anyway, my mom was like, you know what? I was getting all this bad news. She goes, I just X'd out of all. I was like, why the heck? She's like, they're feeding me all this stuff. I'm not sleeping at night, man. She's like, I just got rid of all that stuff and I X'd it all out. And now she's like, now I see my friends. That's all I want to see. But anyway, she got me thinking. I'm like, yeah, you know, there's a lot of bad news out there, but there's also a lot of good news, you know. And I don't know if anybody's been following the good news, but they just had, Aaron, maybe you can tell us. They just had salmon this migration season get further than they ever thought was possible on the Klamath, man. And I got a little song about it, but this song actually, the song I'm about to play next, man, I wrote this song the day after that show I played with Earl, right here at Humbrew's. I wrote this song the next day, and it was so trippy to just like, I was feeling inspired from being up here and being with Earl and being with the community, and I was thinking of what an amazing community we have, and I had just written the song Humboldt, and that was so groovy, and I'm like, we got to write another song, so I wrote this song called Klamath.
Yeah!
Well, a ship headed north out of Frisco Bay made it up to Humboldt in just 3 days. Told the people there, just passing through, up to the golden Siskiyou. Well, they came for the gold, but they stayed for the trees. And when they had them all down, they headed out to sea. And when the fishing got tough, they came back to land. The captain said, don't worry, I've got a plan. He said, God made the river and God made man, but man made God. So the river be damned. God damn, God damn, God damn. Whoa, the river be damned. Captain headed north up to the mighty Klamath. He said, now that's a big river, I can't wait to dam it. So they dammed the water, and they dammed it again. Built a hatchery to pay for their sins, but they choked the river and killed the fish and people downstream. Well, they were pissed. That's when the tribes all got together, said, we speak for the river and we will forever. They called Warren Buffett, said the times are running out. They sent dead Sam into the White House, and nothing seemed to happen that day or night. But decade after decade, they never lost sight. They united the community and then the whole state. Got the Congress to legislate, and the president signed off, and now it's history. And that's what you can do with your community. We took it back, just like that. We took it back, we took it back. We took the river back, we took it back, just like that. We took it back, we took it back. We took the river back, all the way from the mountains out to the sea. Well, that river, now she's a flowing free. And it's a better world for you and me. And that's what you can do with your community. We took it back, just like that. We took it back, we took it back. We took the river back, we took it back, just like that. We took it back, we took it back. We took the river back.
Well deserved.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know if that song would have ever got written if it wasn't for Earl Thomas, or if it wasn't for Pete Mullen. You know, and that's how powerful every person in the community is. You know, every single person has that power to do whatever you need to do. And like that movement of the Klamath, there were so many people that put in the work for years, for decades, going to protests. You know, like, man, I was up on the Klamath. You know, we made a music video with that song. Anybody seen that music video?
Yes.
It was so beautiful. We got invited to film all over with different folks, different tribal members and different activists that have been working, that have been like busting it out for years. There was documentary filmmakers, Shane Anderson, man, gave us access to all this incredible. I mean, the film that we got to, it was mind-blowing, in a way unprecedented. And it just goes to, again, to me, to show how powerful like every person is. Because I actually remember coming to Humboldt some 20-some years ago, and I went up to Black Bear Ranch. Anybody ever been up there? Oh yeah! I got invited up for Thanksgiving, and I hiked up into this place. It's this old hippie commune in the Siskiyous, man. And I went up there, and I had Thanksgiving, and there was like, I had all these experiences. I got to pick my first mushrooms, and I was doing sweats with this old dude, there were some freeloaders there, though, I'm not going to lie. There were. That's, the stereotypes of freeloaders. It was true over there. There was some freeloading. And so much so where I'm like, I don't like that. So I split firewood. So I'm like, I'm going to split firewood every day I'm here. I'm going to work. And I come from the Midwest, and they got that. Like, come on, pull your weight. Do what you can do. So I was splitting wood. And because I was splitting wood, there was these old timers on the front porch of Black Bear Ranch. And they pretty much ran everyone off, because I would be splitting wood. If I went up there to go like sip on some water, they wouldn't run me off. I could be a fly on the wall. And these old timers were sitting there, and they were like planning a church potluck. That's what it sounded like to me. They were like talking about, okay, how many pans of lasagna? Okay, are we gonna get the potato salad? How much? Who's gonna make the potato salad? And they were talking about all this stuff, but then they had this guest list that was pretty interesting. They're like, all right, well, we're going to get this congressperson is going to be there, and we need this tribal chair, and I need all this stuff. Anyway, these old timers, they were planning the undamming of the Klamath. They were planning a benefit dinner to bring the community together. That's how the Klamath was undammed. It's like the tribes, they carved these wooden salmons, and they were doing these relay races where, they were taking this wooden salmon, and they took them all the way up into the interior, like at the start of the, over there inland, and they ran them. They literally put it under their arms, and they ran these wooden salmons home, because they're like, look, we're going to take these salmons home until the dams are the salmon couldn't get past those dams, so they made the wooden salmon, and they ran them, and I looked at those, and I saw that, and I'm like, that's how you do the largest dam removal in world history. You run a wooden salmon. But that's what you do. You unite the community, and that's what they did, and that's what Peter Brooker did. Who he was the one sitting on the porch. Petey was sitting on the porch, man. And I talked to Petey's daughter Allegra, because I'm like, man, I need to get some pictures. And as I was sitting there talking, I realized all of a sudden that Petey was the dude that I was sweating with. And there's another man that's in the audience tonight, Matt, the artist. Matt, where are you, Matt? Yeah, Matt's not here. Yeah, man, this dude is an incredible artist. And there's a song, Peace and Strength, and Petey Brooker, who worked on Undamming the Klamath, I didn't know it, and he doesn't know it, but he helped me write that song. In fact, so why don't we play that song? Yeah. Well, it's a big business, locking people up, it's a big business, don't give up, it's a big business, locking people up, it's a big business, don't give a. Been going on for a long, long time, way before yours and way before mine was a war, hey, a war on heaven and a war on earth, a war on death and a war on birth. I got a war on this and a war on that, a war on race and a war on class. It's a war on drugs and a war on crime, but it's all the war on all the people all the time. It's a war on land and a war on sea, a war on you and a war on me, because the war out there becomes the war in here. The oldest weapon that they got is fear, and that's why I'm beating my drum at the Empire's gates, and why I'm singing peace and strength. Well, it's a big business, shooting people up, it's a big business. Don't give a, it's a big business, shooting people up, it's a big business. Don't give a. Been going on for a long, long time. Way before yours and way before mine was a war. Was a war. Yeah, Grandma met Grandpa in the Second Great War. Said it was to be the war to end all wars. But after that one finished, they were quick to make more. Seems some folks just can't get enough of war. War. Hell, war in Korea and a war in Vietnam. Bigger guns, grenades, Agent Orange and napalm. A war in Iraq and Afghanistan. A war in the Congo and a war in Sudan. Got a war with China going on in Ukraine. More blood, more death, more pain, and now a war in Israel and Palestine. But it's all over on all the people all the time, and that's why I'm beating my drum at the Empire's gates, and why I'm singing peace and strength. Well, it's a big business, numbing people up, it's a big business. Don't give it, it's a big business, numbing people up, it's a big business. Don't give it. Been going on for a long, long time. Way before yours and way before mine was a war. Was a war. Yeah, but ever since Richmond been making war, there's been people making peace, speaking up for the poor. Was a fella named Mandela, and he learned from Gandhi how to bring the whole British Empire down to their knees. Martin Luther King Jr., John Lewis too, dreamed of unity for me and you. Said be wary of anything that is separatist. Be what you're for, not what you're against. I'm beating my drum at the Empire's gates, and why I'm singing peace and strength. I'm gonna play you one more tune, y'all. Well, I built this home with my own two hands. Help from my friends and trees from the land. Food and shelter, the best I can. This right here is where I make my stand. Cause we still got butchers and we still got mills. Got a whole lot of folks with a whole lot of skills. If you ever need help, ever need a favor, well, around here still call on your neighbor. That's how we do it in Humboldt. Hey, how we do it in Humboldt. How we do it in Humboldt. We got trees like you ain't ever seen. Clear blue water straight out of a dream. And you don't have to go and look too far to find yourself a shooting star. You can be a weirdo, you can be a freak, you can be straight-laced 7 days a week. Cause we got guts and we got pride. We got what matters on the inside. That's how we do it in Humboldt. Hey, how we do it in Humboldt. How we do it in Humboldt. Well, the sun was setting on 68. It was the summer of love down in the hay. A war was dragging, it was getting late. Back to the land sounded great. And that's when a redneck made love with a hippie, had himself a giant and named her Gypsy. Woo! That's how we do it in Humboldt. Hey, how we do it in Humboldt. How we do it in Humboldt. But it ain't no flowers and peace and love. You know the history is stained in blood. Everywhere from Hoover down to Table Bluff, Klamath to Bear River, man, they had it rough. It's the same old story all across the land. One of them things I just can't understand. So I do my best to show respect, tip my hat and I won't ever forget. That's how we do it in Humboldt. Yeah. Hey, how we do it in Humboldt. How we do it in Humboldt. Now, if you want to talk shit on California, go right ahead, but I got to warn ya. We'll hold it down around here. If you live in this country and you ever smoke grass, you can thank Humboldt County for risking a rise. A fighting camp since the 80s and a going strong. We just kept on growing until the laws caught on. Yeah, well, the only way to say it is to put it bluntly. There ain't another place more outlaw country. That's how we do it in Humboldt. Hey, how we do it in Humboldt. 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 Thank you all so very much. So honored to get to be here tonight. So love to see the show of support for the Arcata Rising. Wonderful benefit. Pete Del Mullen Quartet's coming up next. We got Earl Thomas. And I want you all to know, there is something I want you to know. There is one thing I would like you to know. One more thing. Just one. 3, 2, 1. In fact, will y'all just say that with me right now? Just want to say it with me. 3, 2, 1. Hey, that's our next show. I'm playing with my band, the Freedom Riders. I'll be playing at the Eureka Theater. It's going to be our biggest indoor venue we've ever played. I would so appreciate it if you bought tickets and if you came out and you hung out with us on 3, 2, 1. Tickets are at the eurekatheater.org. Every event there goes to fixing up that amazing space that's run by a nonprofit, and I'd love to see you. Thank you all. Good night.
On that a few weeks ago.